Hey, this is Steve Ninja from Excelsior Movie Reviews, and I'm here with Wade Markey again.
Hello, everybody in YouTube land. The Force is with us today with Steve Ninja and I.
Yeah, so tonight we're gonna rank the 11 Star Wars movies. Obviously, Wade's more of a fan of Star Wars than I am, apparently, because he's got way more toys than I do. So I'm gonna give it to him as far as it. I'm going to say he's more of a fan than I am. No, I'm a huge fan, but he's even more of a fan than I am. So, Wade, what's your number 11? We'll just get right started.
Okay, we'll just start it off here. And my number 11, we hadn't had a Star Wars movie in 26 years when this one came out.
Mm-hmm.
And the fan excitement was there. Oh my gosh, a new Star Wars movie after 26 years in 1999. It is, and I have this box set. It's the Phantom Menace from 1999.
Yep.
And when I saw this, I was so excited, and I liked it.
Mm-hmm.
It actually got worse as the years went along for me. But what sticks out still with this film is Ray Park as Darth Maul, with the greatest lightsaber scene ever done in a Star Wars film. His stunts in that and his fight with Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan is awesome, and Ian McDiarmid is great in that as you know, Palpatine, and you know, his performance is great. Yoda, great in that. Bringing back Frank Oz, do the voice of Yoda.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan was perfect casting, I thought, and.
Yes.
But some of the downfall of that movie, I thought, was the character of Jar Jar Binks.
Yes.
You know, when that movie was first advertised, we thought he was going to be a cool sidekick of Qui-Gon Jinn, sort of like the Han Chewie relationship, sort of.
No.
We didn't get that with Jar Jar. So anyway, that is my number 11. Phantom Menace, still a strong Star Wars movie, but my least favorite of the Star Wars films. So right. I'll hand it over to you, Steve, and you can go over your number 11.
Yeah, as far as these, I don't think any of these are really bad necessarily, but so I can't really say that my number 11 is terrible. There's some things that I don't like about it as much, but so mine is going to be different. I'm not going to start there. I'm going to start with this movie, which I actually really like, except they committed the cardinal sin in this movie. That it's the Last Jedi. They killed off Luke Skywalker, which is kind of unforgivable. I mean, you just can't do that. But I actually really like this movie. It's just, I had heard rumors about Luke before seeing it like a week before the movie happened, and I couldn't believe they did that. And no, they did. Rian Johnson.
I know that pissed a lot of fans off with what they did with Luke Skywalker's character, and I didn't have any problem with that, because I thought, wow, that was an unpredictable thing to do, because I didn't expect that, and he went on with the Force, and but we got him back in The Mandalorian, so
yeah. I really thought J.J. Abrams would use him more. It just not the one scene as a Force ghost, and then they showed him at the end, but I kind of wonder how much J.J. Abrams actually likes Mark Hamill. I think he likes Luke Skywalker. I don't know if he likes Mark Hamill a ton.
But I thought Mark Hamill's performance in that was great in The Last Jedi. I thought he was the best part of that film. I thought.
Yeah, definitely.
And Adam Driver, I mean, he's been great in all three of those Star Wars films.
Yeah, I have no problems with the actors in those movies. I just the writing just wasn't consistent, and I'm not even a huge fan of J.J. Abrams, but they should have used him and all. They should have hired him to do all three movies, have the same writers do all three, and have a consistent storyline, but they didn't. So that's what we got. But like I said, there's a lot of stuff I like about that movie. The final battle between Kylo and Luke was great, but it could have been a lot better. And unfortunately, I just can't forgive them for killing off Luke. And
this one other thing that I'll add with The Last Jedi, I thought it was the most beautifully shot Star Wars film. I mean, the whole movie was just filmed great, and especially the end on that last planet they were on with the the red crystals and
Right.
yeah.
That looked great. I mean, yeah, for sure. So yeah, I agree with. Okay, what's your number 10?
Okay, so my number 10 is from 2002. It's one of the prequels. It is Attack of the Clones, like I said, from 2010.
Yeah.
And this was an improvement, I thought, over the Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
But I thought this one suffered from wooden dialogue with Padme and Anakin. It got really cheesy, in my opinion, with their dialogue, so that set the film back. However, towards the last, when the Clone Wars started in this movie, that's when it kicked into gear.
Right.
And then when Yoda showed up to fight Count Dooku, the crowd erupted
Right.
in the theater when I saw it. And that was so exciting. So,
Right.
you know, half of this movie is great, half of it's not so great.
Yeah,
But yeah, they attack the clones. I just think Lucas suffered from, you know, he suffers from writing good dialogue sometimes in his Star Wars films. So I thought it really suffered in this one. So yeah, that's my number 11. Or
Yeah.
no, excuse me, my number 10. Excuse me.
Yeah, it's the whole love affair thing has kind of hurt the movie a little bit, but you had to have that too. But you know, it kind of took away from the movie. But I love the battles scene in the you know, near the end with all the Jedi and the Coliseum or whatever that was. You know, that was pretty cool. But yeah, okay. So my number 10 is going to be the Rise of Skywalker. There you go again. Which I like this movie too. J.J. Abrams was back, you know, and with the last one, you know, Rian Johnson. I like Rian Johnson quite a bit. I mean, I like Knives Out and everything, but it was nice to see J.J. Abrams back, even though I have some issues with J.J. Abrams, you know, not being hired, you know, not taking over the project for all 3 movies, and I guess it's not really his fault. Technically, it's Disney's fault, and Kathleen Kennedy and, you know, Lucasfilm for not setting that up. But
yeah, and I think Abrams gets some bad publicity from some of the fans with that, in my opinion, because he was brought back in the middle of production when they had Colin, what's his name, Trevorrow, who had he'd written Duel of the Fates, and that was supposed to be the movie, and then they brought Abrams back because they had created differences and brought Abrams back, and so he had just limited time to get this put together. And that one is higher on my list than what you have it.
Okay.
I'll get to mine on that one.
Right. I mean, J.J. Abrams said he had to kind of clean up what Rian Johnson had done, because he had gone off the board and kind of changed some things. I don't know. I'm not sure if it was the plan to kill off Snoke, you know, in the second one or not, but you know, that's
yeah, he retconned a lot of Rian Johnson's ideas in that, and said, well, this was my vision from the start, so I'm going to finish it, I think. And that's why he brought the Emperor back in. And
when we talked about that earlier off camera, about how I felt like when I saw The Force Awakens that the Emperor was behind the whole thing, and a lot of people thought no, and then you were telling me that J.J. Abrams had that plan the whole time, and I've heard that too, that was planned, and then a lot of fans feel like it kind of looked like it was tacked on in the Rise of Skywalker. So to me, I always thought that was the plan. Like the Emperor, he said he could escape death in episode 3, and I thought that's the Emperor. Like, so to me that was predictable. But then as far as Kylo and Rey not being brother and sister like Lucas had planned, and their ages being so much different, they were supposed to be twins. You know, I think they were supposed to be twins as well, and they did that because you know, they'd want to be predictable, and there's this whole mystery that all three movies of who Rey is and who her parents were and all that, and it wasn't at all what we thought. That wasn't predictable, and that the whole tie-in, you know, between Rey and Kylo, you know, Ben Solo, you know, that whole thing, you know, it was kind of dicey a little bit. I kind of felt like it a little bit, but okay. So what's your number 9?
Okay, my number 9 is from 2018, and it is Solo.
Okay.
This was directed by Ron Howard. He wasn't the original director, but he, again, creative differences from the Millers, were the original. I think it was.
Yeah, it was like two guys. I don't remember the names. Yeah, but yeah.
Again, creative differences, and I think they were making too many jokes on set, and Kathleen Kennedy didn't like that, and said, I'm gonna bring in a seasoned director and get this done right." And did Solo, which I really like this movie. It brought in Han Solo, young Han Solo, on how he met Chewie, and that is the best part of this film, is how they met. And it's a solid movie. I think the only, I guess, the worst thing about this movie, I think, is the main villain. Paul Bettany. Pretty weak villain, in my opinion. I didn't expect Woody Harrelson to be a traitor character in this movie, but he ended up being that. And but yeah, it's we finally got to see the Kessel Run in this, which was cool.
Right.
And so yeah, it was a solid Solo film. No pun intended.
Yeah, it's Ron Howard. They had to do a lot of reshoots because he had to shoot 70% of the movie in order to get his name on the director's credit. So that movie went way over budget, and it didn't make the money back. And it's kind of disappointing from that standpoint that Ron Howard took over so long, and that somehow they didn't stop those original two directors from what they were doing, and they didn't pay attention to what Rian Johnson was doing at all. They just kind of let that fly, so sometimes the studio needs to kind of keep track of what's happening and not spend so much money, because it's like as far as Star Wars movies, it's like the lowest least profitable, or it's
I think it is the least profitable of all the films. I believe Solo is. And I guess it was considered probably the biggest disappointment box office wise of any of the films. And but it's a solid movie. I thought it was good, and I enjoyed it. And I need to give it more watches, because it might be the film I've watched the least out of any of these films.
I think I saw it like 4 times in the theater, and then when I bought the Blu-ray, I probably watched it 2 or 3 times. So, but it's been a while since I've seen it, so I should watch it again just to kind of get used to it. I like the two Solo, the actors that played Solo, and the girl, Mother of Dragons from Game of Thrones. I like those two actors. Was it Alan Enrich and Amelia Clark? She played Mother of Dragons. She was great on Game of Thrones. And
I've never watched Game of Thrones, so
I refer to Game of Thrones all the time, because I see actors that were on that show in everything now, especially in British, because mostly a British TV show with mostly British actors, and I see them all the time in movies. And I was like, that actor was in Game of Thrones, and I reference that all the time in my movie reviews. So, so my number 9, I've got. I was telling Wade earlier, I only have the prequels in this box set, so, and it's hard to kind of show each prequel. So I'm just going to show what my number 9 is. And so it's episode 2, Attack of the Clones. If you can see that.
We see it now.
Yeah. So like we said, it was a big improvement. Ahmed Best, Jar Jar Binks wasn't in it quite as much, and that was nice. And I remember we went to like a IMAX back when IMAX had to be like, I think, under 2 hours long, and they had to cut some of it.
That's right. We did go see it, and they cut some time off the running time of that. That's right. Yeah, because they couldn't.
Last Jar Jar Binks in it.
And I liked actually what they did with Jar Jar in that. He pretty much was responsible for the creation of the clone army there.
Yeah, I mean,
but that was a cool turn for the good for that character, in my opinion.
Yeah, because a lot of people kind of blamed him for everything anyway. But I feel bad for Ahmed Best, because I think at one point he was like on suicide watch, basically, because fans were blaming him when he was just doing his job. He was doing what George Lucas would do.
Star Wars fans control people to awfulness, and it's sad that they go after these actors and badmouth them and make them feel that way, and it's not fair. I don't think that's right at all. So
yeah, there's a great documentary about the people versus George Lucas. I don't know if you've ever seen that before, but it's really great. and they talk about Jar Jar, how much they were disappointed with the Phantom Menace and, all that, and they kind of blamed George, and George sold, Lucasfilm to Disney, and maybe a year or two later. So now people have a problem with Disney and how they've handled Star Wars too. But okay, what's your number 8?
My number 8 it's from 2005, and again, it's in my prequel trilogy here. It's Revenge of the Sith.
Okay.
2005, and this is by far the best of the prequels. Yeah, this one is it has the great duel of Obi-Wan and Anakin in it, and that's one of the best lightsaber fights, second to that Darth Maul,
Right.
Qui-Gon Obi-Wan fight. And this might be the longest lightsaber duel in any of the films too. I think it is. And on Mustafar. So yeah, Revenge of the Sith. I mean, the Emperor with lightsabering battle with Yoda, great in this movie. Just a all around solid prequel.
Yeah,
it was the best.
The ending is only when they, he wanted to be Darth Vader, and he looked too small in the suit, and then he did when he found out that Padme had died. Anakin says, "No,
no." That was bad. Yeah, that was not a good line. I didn't think that was. But yeah, I mean, I didn't have that big of a problem with when he looked in the suit. But yeah, he did look a lot smaller than David Prowse, that's for sure.
Yeah, but he insisted. He convinced George to let him play that character. Hayden Christensen, I think he's returning. He's supposed to return to the Kenobi TV show.
Yeah, he is as Vader. Yeah, he's returning. I'm not sure how they're going to use him in that. Like, are they going to show him without the mask? I'm not sure how they're going to work that in, but I'm looking forward to watching it.
Yeah, I think people are excited about it. Like the way that people talked about the prequels, you think people would be upset about it, but people, I mean, especially younger people in the 30s, and so when they were kids when they saw the prequels, and so I'm excited about it too. I want to see that for sure, because I love what they did to Mandalorian on Disney. Jon Favreau, I think they got the right people working on those on the TV shows. So I'm excited about the Book of Boba Fett, or I'm excited about that. So they seem to be doing the TV shows better than the movies, at least as far as the new trilogy. So let's see. Do you have the next one, or that was what?
That was my number 8.
Okay.
That was Revenge of the Sith. You're next.
I'm getting confused, yeah, because I showed this. Solo is my number 8. So yeah, just like you said, it's. I thought Ron Howard did a good job of patching things up, and filming 70% of the movie to get his name on the film credits, and it has his touch to it. I'm not sure how much from the other directors that were actually left in the movie. I don't think they reshot the whole movie, but I don't know how far the other directors got as far as filming. They weren't completely done, so I don't know. I don't know if this is all Ron Howard that took over this or not, but yeah.
I think he almost reshot the whole film. I think. Yeah. I'm not positive on that, but it was a good portion of it, definitely. And he might have redid it all, and maybe some of their ideas were still in it, maybe. But I'm not sure if it was 80% of it, or 90 or 70% of what he redid, or maybe he just started from scratch and redid the whole thing. I'm not sure.
He may have. I mean, a director like that with that kind of name, he's not going to put his name on that unless he's completely happy with it. So if he said, we're going to reshoot the whole thing, then they were going to do it, because he kind of bailed them out. I don't blame him for anything, as far as he did the best job he could with the material. And
I think Kathleen Kennedy said that the original directors, they were ad-libbing too much and joking on the set, and not sticking to the script, I guess. And I mean, all movies do that, I'm sure, but maybe they were just going to the extreme with it, evidently. So
Yeah, I really like Donald Glover as Lando. I thought he was
I did
great.
too. I thought he was great. Yeah.
Millie Clark. Yeah, it's just Woody Harrelson, like I said, and Alden Emmerich. I thought the cast was solid in this. Tandy Newton, Paul Bettany. So it's a movie people should watch. Just a little bit more. And I rarely ever hear people really say anything bad about it. It just didn't make any money though. They didn't.
Right. Yeah. I haven't. I don't think I know anybody that didn't like it. Yeah. I quite enjoyed it. Yeah.
Me too. Okay, what's your number 7?
Number 7 is from 2015, and it was the first standalone Star Wars movie that came out. It's Rogue One from 2015. And this one tells the story and how they obtained the Death Star plans. And it's a heist movie. I thought it was great. And then the big surprise in this one is we get Vader again.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And that was exciting, and the crowd roared with that scene. That was awesome. That last scene where he was the rebel troopers, and he's just taking them all down on 10 of 4. Yeah. So I thought this was a really good. It's a better standalone than Solo. I thought overall. It got the flavor of the Empire to a T, and I thought they did a really good job with Grand Moff Tarkin, with Peter Cushing's character doing a full CGI on him.
And Carrie
not so good on Princess Leia, but I thought Tarkin was done really well on this. And
I agree. He was. Didn't they use Carrie Fisher's daughter to kind of stand in?
I think they used her as like the stand-in, and then they superimposed, the CGI Leia face on her. I think that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, it did look kind of weird how Leia kind of moved. Her movement was kind of odd, and Tarkin didn't really move all that much. He just kind of stood there. But his face, they did the face a little bit better on him, on the actor that played that character. It looked more like Tarkin, and because he wasn't moving so much, you couldn't tell like it was with Carrie Fisher. She looked kind of, her movements were kind of odd, but yeah, as far as Vader, like when he shows up, he's a killing machine, and then
he is.
in episode 4, like when they show Vader, it looks like he's worn out from all the killing that he did, and in Rogue One apparently, because he doesn't look like he doesn't look as young, and he doesn't look as fast as but I love seeing Vader in that. It's I think I saw that like 3 or 4 times in the theater, and that was my favorite part, just to see that. And I really like the cast in Rogue One too. I thought the characters really kind of had a family kind of feel to all the actors really were.
Yeah, they all had really good chemistry together. I agree. I thought they did all the actors did a great job in it. And even I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I thought he was great. Krennic. Yeah. I thought he was wonderful in this. Yeah, I thought he was great. Yeah,
I agree. And it has what Maz Mendelsohn.
Yeah. He's at the beginning of the movie, right? And because he works for the Empire. Yeah.
Right. And didn't he get was he the ones that had I haven't watched Rogue One in a while, but didn't he design the plans?
Yeah, he designed the Death Star. Yeah.
Right. But didn't he kind of tip them how to get the plans so that they can get them and be able to destroy it? His weapon, that he to make, So it wasn't his fault. They would kill him if he didn't do his job. So and his daughter's part of the reason why the rebels succeeded in that and
started the Rebel Alliance. That's right. Yeah,
absolutely. So my number 7, I have that's much higher than yours, but it's the Force Awakens. So much promise in this movie. So we saw so much in this, even though they killed off Han Solo, which is kind of sad, but they wanted to kill him off in episode 2, episode 5, Empire Strikes Back. He kind of wanted to die in that, and they didn't. They brought him back for Return of the Jedi, but they finally got the job done in this. It was his own son that did it to him. So I'm sure everybody knows these movies, so we're not really spoiling anything. I'm sure.
No, I don't think we are.
If you're watching this, you it's been spoiled already, so you wouldn't be watching this if you didn't know everything that happened in it. But yeah, so much promise in this J.J. Abrams, and then somehow they didn't keep the continuity well, and all three movies, and Ryan Johnson kind of went off on his own and made a good movie, but he went off on his own, and like I said, he committed the cardinal sin and killing off one of our favorite characters in all of Star Wars. It's like, that's what he did to, but yeah.
Well, The Force Awakens is a lot higher on my list, and I'll get to my reasoning on that when it comes to that point of my list. So, but yeah,
Number 7 for me. So yeah, I don't disagree. If you got it really high, it could have been higher on mine too. But yeah, it's part of that the new trilogy, which is it has some issues, but those movies aren't terrible though. I still like to kind of watch them because I like the characters, the younger cast, kind of next generation of Star Wars characters. I thought worked well. The chemistry in those characters were good too, but it's just a lot of it doesn't make a lot of sense, and so that is what it is. But okay, what's your number 6?
Number 6 is from 2017, and it is The Last Jedi. And yeah, The Last Jedi. When I saw this in the theater, I absolutely loved it. The unpredictability of this movie, and yeah, like killing off Snoke, and doing what they did with Luke Skywalker was so unpredictable.
Yeah.
I mean, the opening scene where he tosses the lightsaber behind, and it was like, oh my gosh. But it got a lot of laughs in the theater, but I was like, oh wow, they're taking this character into a direction that nobody's going to expect, and
yeah,
that's what it was. And but yeah, a beautifully shot film. I mean, Ryan Johnson, I think, created the most beautiful Star Wars film with this. I said that earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, everything is done really well. The editing is great in this movie. Everything is pretty good. The worst scene, I think, is the Canto Bite stuff in this. That whole scene on the gambling place, Canto Bite. I thought that fit more in like a prequel movie, and it was so out of place. Mm-hmm. It didn't fit into this movie at all, in my opinion.
It looked beautiful though, I mean, for sure. But
yeah, it did. It looked good.
Yeah, it didn't fit into Star Wars all that well. So yeah.
Yeah, and what we didn't mention is passing to Carrie Fisher. And so she never got to see this, right? Yeah, she never got to see this movie. And rest in peace, Carrie. So yeah, this was her real swan song, last movie, for real. I mean, she appeared in the Rise of Skywalker, but they used footage from the other two movies to put her in that. But yeah, it was good to have her back in this, and I thought she was even better in this than she was in The Force Awakens.
Yeah, I thought they used her a lot more, and she didn't have a lot. Yeah. She was able to somehow float in space without freezing to death. But I don't know.
The Mary Poppins scene, yeah.
Mary Poppins in space, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But I'm glad, and that was kind of like, when that happened, like, because Carrie Fisher had died already, and they're gonna kill her off right now, and then somehow she gets back into the ship and lives. So yeah, that's a good choice of it. So my number 6 is the one that you rank really low. It's the Phantom Menace. I don't know why I would put it spot. Yeah, like you said, this movie had so much promise at the time, and Jar Jar kind of ruined the movie, but then again, you had Darth Maul, and Darth Maul saved the movie, and like we say, the pod race was great. And
yeah, we didn't mention the pod race. The pod race scene is great, and that's one of the top scenes in that movie for sure. But yeah, we got the mystery of Darth Maul. We didn't know anything about him, and you really didn't learn anything about him in this movie. Right. And then, thank goodness for the Clone Wars and Solo, you got more of him. So
right back, we got half.
Yes.
You got half of them. You got half of them in those. Yeah, it's like he didn't necessarily have to die, because like they say, the Jedi lightsaber can cauterize a wound, and as long as he didn't fall to his death or hit really hard once he hit the ground, which they they say somehow he landed without, getting injured at that point. But yeah,
he's definitely the coolest looking Star Wars character ever.
Yeah,
ever
double
created.
lightsaber.
The double lightsaber, yeah.
Yeah, both Qui-Gon and Anakin, or Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan at the same time, and he's a dangerous character. There's some danger in that. Like when he showed up the first time, and Qui-Gon had to take him on, and I think on Tatooine, it's like, oh, like what could happen here, and then eventually at the end he actually does kill Qui-Gon, but
right, that was pretty emotional scene. Yeah, when Qui-Gon, because I was really into Qui-Gon's character, and yeah, that was pretty tragic to see him die, because I didn't really expect him to die so soon. I thought he would last the entire trilogy.
right,
I didn't.
Yeah,
but they kind of took the Obi-Wan turn with him,
yeah,
and that, yeah.
And I knew the whole time that the Palpatine was the Phantom Menace. He's the Phantom Menace,
right.
But and he's just his puppet, the entire thing. But yeah, I was expecting him to be around all three movies, but they kill him off in the first one, episode 1. So okay, what's your number 5?
Number 5 is from 2019, and it is The Rise of Skywalker. Oh, nope. Oh, sorry, brought the wrong one up. Sorry. The Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
Take 2. Yeah. Rise of Skywalker. I love this movie, and it's entertaining from start to finish. It doesn't let up.
Right.
It's I mean, you don't have time to breathe in this movie. It's just boom, 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 boom. But yeah, it's I thought C-3PO's performance in this one was probably the best since like the originals, since A New Hope, or maybe an Empire Strikes Back. I mean, but I thought what they did with C-3PO in this one was great. I thought they brought him back to what he really was in the original trilogy, and put him in the storyline, in the adventure with him, with Poe and Rey and Finn. So yeah, and having Palpatine back, I thought was exciting, and I just loved this movie. A lot of people hated this movie, and they were hugely disappointed, but I found it, as like the second best of the sequel trilogy. So yeah, Rise of Skywalker.
So they say Kylo and Rey were, was it like diodes or whatever they were supposed to be. They're not twins.
Yeah, diodes. Yeah, they were connected. Yeah,
connected somehow. That seemed kind of tacked on, but I loved seeing the Emperor back, though. That like I said, I thought he was involved in Force Awakens too, and he was. So some people think that wasn't the plan the whole time, but I thought it was a plan from the very beginning that was the Emperor. Well, it's the Emperor. He's behind Snoke. So yeah.
And in fact, it's like, other than the original trilogy, it's the one that I would rewatch the most, because it's I can watch it anytime, and so that's why it's up there on my list, because it's one I can just watch anytime, and just like the original trilogy, I can turn any of those on anytime and watch them. But I can't say the same for a lot of the other films. All the time. So
yeah, it's like when they had the other Jedi talking to Rey, trying to give her some inspiration. I thought that was kind of cool. Some of the voices that they had from some past Jedi talking.
Right at the end, yeah, we had all the Force voices, from dead Jedi, and well, they're not dead; they're one with the Force. Yeah.
Yeah, and all those ships at the end that all kind of came to the rescue, sort of like everybody in the galaxy came to help him out. But it looked kind of odd how it was CGI'd in there, but it was kind of cool. That's what they needed. That helped.
Yeah, and having and bringing Billy D. Williams back as Lando, I thought it was great to have him back, and I thought he looked good in the movie, and he acted like Lando in it, and I was impressed with it. So yeah.
Okay, so my number 5, you talked about this earlier. It's Rogue One. Yeah, I love this too. When Vader comes back, that's why I had to go back to the theater. I think I saw it on IMAX one time, and I saw a couple of, I think I saw it 3 or 4 times in the theater. So yeah, I love this cast. Like I said, the chemistry was great in this, and it had that kind of old Star Wars feel to it that you hadn't seen in a while. It definitely got, it's probably the closest to Lucas kind of idea, that without him being involved with it. I thought they really got it down. So what's your number 4?
Okay. Number 4 is from 1983, and it is Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So yeah, Return of the Jedi, classic. I can watch this movie anytime as well. But yeah, I mean, Jabba the Hutt, the whole beginning scene with Jabba the Hutt. Boba Fett's back, and he didn't last very long. But yeah, and then you see, Han getting rescued, and then it leads to Luke Skywalker going back to Dagobah to finish his training.
Yeah.
But Yoda says there's no more training for you, and we see the sad passing of Yoda in Return of the Jedi. And, sorry if you haven't seen it. Yoda dies in this one.
The Ewoks kind of made it more of a kid-friendly kind of movie, but yeah, that ending scene with the Emperor and Vader and Luke definitely made that movie memorable. And finally Vader decided, realized that the Emperor was like the source of all of his problems, and decided to help his kid out instead of following this guy whom he was afraid that the Emperor would kill him if he ever tried to turn on him. And so but he made that choice, that he had the right thing, and help Luke out, and what we thought was the death of the Emperor, apparently wasn't.
Apparently it was not.
Which, like, you can't kill that guy. The guy's going to come back. He'll come back again. At some point. Ian McDermott may not be alive when they decide to do that, but I don't know if he can kill the Emperor for long. It may take him 20, 30 years to come back, or whatever it was, but he'll be back. Okay, so my number 3, and I didn't get this. My number 3 is it's
4, you mean? Number 4?
My number 4 is Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, which is, that's why I said number 3, but it's my number 4 is Revenge of the Sith. I didn't bring it up here, but I thought that at the time it brought back something the closest at that time to Episode 4, and it was linked to it. It was the best of the prequels, and the most action with the Obi-Wan and Anakin. That battle scene that we had heard about for decades, how Obi-Wan was able to defeat Anakin and cut off a lot of his limbs.
Yeah, Lucas had written that in a treatment years ago, on a lava planet, and yeah, I thought it was done perfectly. That last Jedi duel with them, yeah, it was fantastic.
Yeah, that lava, man, it really added to it, as far as that planet, with just the fire and the lava, just really added to how dangerous that was. And I should have brought this up, but it's Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, so that's my number 4.
Okay.
Episode 3 is my number 4. So there you go. So what's your number 3?
Okay, my number 3 is from 2015, and it is The Force Awakens. Okay. Wow. This movie brought the excitement back to Star Wars, the original excitement that we had with the original trilogy. I mean, it took off like that, and I was just like, oh my gosh, this was what I'd been waiting for a number of years, that I didn't get with any of the prequels, even though I know that story didn't call for that. But what Abrams did with this is he brought the original flavor back to the excitement of Star Wars, and shot it with adrenaline to get the fans excited again for a new trilogy. And having Han Solo back, having well, we thought we were going to get more of Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, but we didn't. There was a reason for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the new cast, I mean, Daisy Ridley was awesome as Rey, and she was great in this. I thought Finn was great. Poe Dameron, I loved all the new characters in this, what they introduced. And even though it's pretty much the same story as The New Hope, but that's okay. That didn't bother me. It bothered some people, but I really enjoyed it. It's one I can watch over and over again. And for the reason it brought the excitement back to Star Wars, it's that high on my list because having the Millennium Falcon full force again, and when they revealed the Millennium Falcon, I mean, the crowd erupted in the theater. I mean, it was awesome.
Yeah. It's he had BB-8. He was kind of the new R2. A lot of kids kind of relate to
BB-8. Yeah.
I kind of had an issue with R2 not being involved with the new trilogy as much, but he was involved, but he was always like the hero of the first 6 movies, and they kind of replaced him with BB-8, and but with the new characters, BB-8 was Poe's number one, best friend, whatever.
Right. Yeah.
New, so I guess it made sense, and I like BB-8. My nephew really likes that character. He's 13 now, so he loves BB-8. So I don't have a problem with him. But it just had the head that kind of swivels like a
right. Yeah, I like BB-8 a lot. Yeah, I thought he was a great droid and original. I mean, we hadn't seen a droid look like that ever, so it was a pretty original thing. So yeah, that's my number 3.
Okay, so my number 3 is episode 6, Return of the Jedi. Here it is. Yeah, this is like we said, the Ewoks, and some of it was more of a kid-friendly kind of movie. A lot more merchandising in this movie, but just the good far outweigh the kind of the average in it, and some of the stuff that was there's stuff that adults could love in this. And we were both like 10 in 1983 when this was released. So I was still 9 at the time, but I turned 10 that year. But so at the time I was still a kid, but the Ewoks were kind of something that younger kids than me might have been more into.
Yeah, and I think it even made more at the box office than Empire Strikes Back. And yeah, that shocks me that Empire didn't make as near the amount of money that the original A New Hope made, or even Return of the Jedi. That kind of shocked me.
It's the most dark movie. I think it's some people kind of turned off. They maybe didn't go to the theater as much. Is it? I don't know if it could be considered to be like a Temple of Doom of Star Wars movies. I don't know, but it's certainly a lot better than Temple of Doom was in Indiana Jones movies. But it's possible that it was so dark for people that they didn't go to the theater to see it as often, because people, like the original episode 4 and episode 6. People return to the theater constantly to, constantly getting back in line to get back to see it again, because it was so exciting, because you really didn't have home video at the time. HBO probably showed it like a 6 to 8 to 12 months later, probably, if they did at all. I'm pretty sure they did, but if you want to see it again, you had to go back into the theater to see it back then. So okay, so what's your number 2?
Number 2. Yeah.
There we go.
Number two is no wrong one. Sometimes I'm gonna do this. Take 2 again. Is from 1977. It's A New Hope. Yeah, this changed movie making, sci-fi movies forever when this came out. The impact of Star Wars. It changed the culture of filmmaking, sci-fi filmmaking, adventure filmmaking, all of that. Nobody had seen special effects to this level on screen when this came out. George Lucas revolutionized how a movie was made and how to market it, and it was an instant hit. Everybody loved it, and it lasted for years at the movie theater, and that's unprecedented. So yeah, I mean, what can you say? I mean, it's top 2 sci-fi movies ever made, in my opinion. It's the end scene with the dogfight. I mean, that's awesome. You got the dogfight with Luke and Han going against the TIE fighters. That's great. Obi-Wan and Darth Vader having their lightsaber duel at the end was great. Carrie Fisher was great. The whole cast just meshed perfectly in this. And I mean, it's the ultimate Star Wars movie. Yeah, I mean, A New Hope. Yeah,
like 2 years earlier, George Lucas's one of his best friends is Steven Spielberg, and he did Jaws 2 years earlier in 1975, which is like one of the first. It's considered to be the first summer blockbuster, and then Star Wars when shattered those records just 2 years later. his friend like did that to him, and
right.
These characters that George Lucas had in his mind, he ended up, when he did THX 1138, he had that sci-fi thing, and I think it was Francis Ford Coppola that convinced George Lucas to do American Graffiti, to make something more of a standard Americana kind of movie, and he did that, and that movie is what allowed him to get the filmmaker Fox to give him the money to make Star Wars. It felt like this guy had a lot of potential and vision, and boy did he. I mean, he had some great characters that he's made. You've got a lot of those great characters right behind you, and those.
Yeah, I have a big collection of Star Wars toys, as you can see behind me. It's. I had Star Wars figures growing up. I mean, it just stuck with me. I'm 48 years old now, and I still love it, and still love collecting the toys and enjoying these and having these on display. And
yeah, you remember when the toys came out? They were so unprepared for the fan reaction that they didn't have the toys ready for Christmas.
Right? Yeah, they had the early bird special thing. Yeah, that was they didn't have them all completed, and you had to buy a certificate to send away for them, and then they ship them later, and because they didn't know how this movie was going to do. They thought it might flop, but it didn't.
Yeah, for sure. So today I actually had my number 2 was actually, I flip-flopped with 2 because I found something earlier today that kind of convinced me because I go back and forth all the time which one I like the most, but ultimately my number 2 was Star Wars. And
okay.
As we know, originally this wasn't called Episode 4, A New Hope. It was just called Star Wars, because
that's right. That's exactly right. Yes.
They didn't know if it would make enough money so they could make, the Episode 5 and 6. So it wasn't until this movie ended up being a huge hit that they decided to, I think it was when they did Empire Strikes Back, Episode 5 is when that's when Lucas put those number 4, 5, and 6. And then that's when the fans were like, what about episodes 1, 2, and 3?
1, 2, and 3. What is this? Yeah, I remember that. I'm like, wow, they're going backwards with this. What's going on here? Yeah.
I remember the kids in my neighborhood, how excited they were about that. Like the potential of that, are they going to make more Star Wars movies after this? And it was 1999 before we got the
26 years later, we finally got them.
Took forever to finally get that. So I know what your number 1 is. Go ahead and give me your number 1.
Yeah, from 1980, it's Empire Strikes Back. Okay. Yeah, man, Empire Strikes Back. It's a dark movie, but man, it's Yoda you're introduced to arguably the best character ever created, Yoda, in the Star Wars universe. You get the biggest reveal ever in a movie.
Yes. And I think it's probably the most iconic line in movie history. I think. I mean, some most quotable line, like "Luke, I am your father." So shocking. Like no one saw that coming. Even though the actors didn't know that. Even David Prowse didn't know that. Mark Hamill I think he was told that by Erwin Kershner. I think he was told, and actually. I know that James Earl Jones didn't know about it. He was given the lines to read, and he thought it was a fake.
Right. He didn't know.
Yeah, so that was one of the biggest reveals. So that's my number that's my number one as well. And when I saw this today, my penny bank, and I'm not going to play it because it gives lines from it gives a line from Star Wars when Vader sees Luke for the first time. Yeah, it gives a big line, but this has the voice of James Earl Jones, and the lightsaber lights up and kind of goes up in the air, and it's pretty cool. And so I don't know about YouTube. I'm not monetized by YouTube, so I don't know what they would do if I played this because it is copyrighted. It's a line from.
I'll just bring out my lightsaber though.
Yeah.
There we go.
It's got my Star Wars remote, which I've never actually used this before. It's just kind of a prop. Yeah.
But I have a bunch of lightsabers in my collection back here. And yeah, this is one of them. This is Luke's from Return of the Jedi, Jedi Luke.
Yeah. Do you have all the? I forgot. I haven't seen those in a while, but do you have all the different, like a blue lightsaber and red one, or just?
Yeah, I do. I can show you. I've got.
Just gonna get it there. Yeah. One of these days, I'm going to go to Wade's house, and I'm going to show all of his toys to everybody because his toys are quite impressive.
It's more appropriate for our top film. So this is Luke's lightsaber from Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes us sound. Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, we've watched these movies most of our lives, and there was a time when I actually kind of stopped watching Star Wars, and then I think when the special editions came out back in the 90s, that's when I got back into it, and I've never turned away since then. And I could show. I've got obviously the Return of the Jedi and back here, and I've got a lot of Star Wars stuff there. But in the other bedroom, I have the original Star Wars. I don't know if you can see this, but
yeah, I can see that now. Yeah, the Empire Strikes. That's a sweet poster. Yeah,
yeah.
I've got the original trilogy posters. They're off camera. But yeah, I've got them all.
So every day, this is where I work at my desk, and I look at that every day. I look at the Empire Strikes Back.
Nice.
So I guess that's part of an influence there too. But yeah, the other Star Wars posters in the other bedroom next door here. But so that was a lot of fun. Like, it's something I want to do for a long time. And I finally came up with the idea a couple weeks ago, and I'm glad we did it. So
yeah, me too, Steve. I'm glad that you wanted to do this because you know how much I love Star Wars and I enjoyed.
You got,
but I got a little bit of a cold. Sorry if it came across on the video, guys. I've been dealing with a cold the last week, so but yeah, I'm a little stuffed up still. But I was happy to do this tonight with Steve, and we'll do future videos, and subscribe to his channel. Helps him get the viewership up and get the word out on his channel. We're going to bring you more good content on his channel, and
yeah, these collabs are a lot of fun, and I really enjoy it, and I love doing movie reviews as well. But got to do these collabs on YouTube. When I watch people do collabs, it's like the most fun just to watch a video with other people and give their opinions on things, and kind of, it's more of a group activity. Community kind of thing. It's a lot of fun. So
it is, and I love watching other channels as well with their collabs too. Yeah, it's awesome to watch different ones and get different opinions, and we all have that camaraderie of the same interests and what we grew up with, and it's nice to do these things. So yeah, we'll do more and more.
I can have more of these. Like I said, more collabs will come, because I enjoy doing that with Wade, and we'll definitely bring more to you if you guys like it. So, and I just looking at the views, it looks like people do like it. So that's a lot of fun. So Wade, you have a good night, and I'll see everybody soon with my next movie review. And we've got Spider-Man coming out for too long here, so looking forward to that. I got my ticket.
Very stoked for that. Very, very stoked for that. And yeah, Steve, thanks again for having me on again. It's awesome to be on here, and anytime we'll do more. You guys have a good night, and we'll see you guys different time, different day.
See everybody.
You guys.
Thank you.
Bye.